Okay, we are live. Let's see. Hi guys, how are you today? This is my first afternoon webinar. I'm pretty excited about it. Let's wait for a couple people to come on. We have some viewers coming on right now. Okay, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Aimee Raupp. I'm the author of a book called Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. And I am also in my 40s and got pregnant naturally and easily at the age of 40 with my son, and plan to do the same in a couple months at the age of 42. And I'm hosting these Path to Pregnancy webinars to further empower and inspire women on their path to pregnancy. So I'm bringing on various clients of mine that have gone through and overcame their fertility challenges, and wanted to just share their stories and share them with you so you can feel less alone on your path to pregnancy. So my guest today is the amazing Claudia Chan, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Great.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi. And hi, everyone. So I'm Claudia Chan, and I'm 41 years old and 27 weeks pregnant. So I guess I'm basically just about to enter my third trimester. I've got a few, I'm due at the end of February with my second child. My first, Jackson, my first son, which I had just 2 months before Aimee had hers, he's 17 months old. So they'll be about 28 months apart. So pretty insane. I'll have the second baby right before I turn 42. I am a social entrepreneur, and if any of you are in the women's empowerment field, my company is the platform that we're known for is She Summit. It's a global women's empowerment conference that happens once a year. Thousands of people attend or tune into the live stream. And our whole mission is to connect, educate, and activate individuals to realize their extraordinary, limitless potential, and sort of step into that and lift others at the same time. So it's really, we're all about motivating individuals to really, drive, really support and think about how do we contribute and serve our purpose, right, in life, but at the same time, and in doing that, our own personal potential and leadership really unleashes. So I advise corporations and individuals and pretty amazing leaders and thought leaders, and really support them in their leadership to sort of change the world. So it's centered in women's empowerment and gender equality, which I would just say the world is made up of half women and half men. Women are unfortunately really not even close to that gender equal gap, whether it's industry or any statistics. So a lot of what I do is educate women also about women's issues. Yeah, so I'll pause there.
Okay, great. You were cutting out a little bit. So Claudia and I started working together. What was it? It was before we both got pregnant, so probably like a year before that, right? And she came to me, I guess, eager to figure out the best ways to optimize her health and her fertility. Claudia makes a decision about something, and that's it. Like, she's going to do it, and she's going to do it fast. So she needs to collect all the information she possibly can to execute. And we had known each other socially, but then it came to me as a client, and we began working together. And I can't remember all the details. How soon after did you get pregnant? So we were.
So yeah, I mean, just to sort of put in perspective, since, for those that might be, if you're in your 20s and you're dating somebody and, you think, I want to get pregnant one day, or you're already in that relationship, or, and you want to start trying, or you're already trying. Mm-hmm. For me, John and I got married when I was 37, he was 39. And it took us 4 years. Like we were together for 4 years prior. We were just slow at everything. We were so passionate about our careers, and so focused on our own stuff. So I was never one of those people, I want to get married tomorrow, I want to have a baby tomorrow. But when I got married at 37, of course, everybody's like, when are you having a baby? And then I'm like, yeah, like 2 years, a few years. And then I think I was around 39 years old. It was January of 2014. I feel like when I started coming in to see you, like January, February. And because prior to that, I'd started, we started, because I guess we never really did the birth control thing. Like, so we had started, like, it's just so funny, like trying, right? You're like, oh my God, the first time, like what? Which is like so silly because you spend your whole life trying not to get pregnant, and then you think it's going to be so easy when you do try. But then, like got a few periods and then decided to like call you up. But then like once, I think it was just, I remember you asking me all these questions about what I was eating, what my lifestyle was like, like my digestion. And, once I just started making slight shifts, I got pregnant pretty quickly, I got pregnant, I want to say I found out in like maybe March or April, and then June is when I had the miscarriage. So I want to say I was like, what, eight weeks pregnant or something?
Yeah, you were pretty early on.
Yeah. So, but I think
about the miscarriage, or go ahead.
Oh, so there's just so much about that whole journey. I think that, just before even getting pregnant, I think it just takes a couple, especially if you're like, women today are so, extraordinary in all that is that we're getting done, right? There's a major women's movement today that's like telling you to lean in, be a girl boss, change the world. Beyonce, get out. And so we're in a sort of a very powerful women's movement time. And so I think women are working harder. We have more on us, and just all of a sudden pausing and shifting into this immediate state and being like, okay, well, I'm ready to start trying now. Right. And it really takes time. It takes time for even like you and your partner to get on the same page, because like, it's all on you. It's all on you because you're the one that's tracking your period, your ovulation. If you're going 100 miles per hour, you got to wind down, it's all on you, really. It's hard for them to even begin to, especially in that early on process. So I think that, and like John literally, and I remember argued about when you ovulate.
I remember that.
Reserve his sperm like until the very end, and like I'll be like, no, we need to start trying. And I think we argued about that, just like alone, just getting on the same page of when to start trying. If he hears this, he's gonna be like, oh my God. So there's little things like that, right? It's like your own personal slowing down and really shifting into this different state. It is, and just getting into this, less stressed out, going a million miles an hour. It's getting on the same page with your partner. And then also just the life moves so fast, but just the acknowledgement and understanding that it can take time. I think, again, we've spent our entire lives trying not to get pregnant. So you think the first time you try, or the second, third, fourth time, you're going to get pregnant. And when you get those periods, it's like, it's disheartening sometimes, right? It's you get discouraged and you get, and that's actually when the stress, I think, starts coming up. Like, wait a second, like I've had 4 periods. Like, am I stressed out? Like, am I doing something wrong? And so just that whole period alone, I feel like a woman in her mind, her body, is like just getting into that state. There needs to be a lot more education around that. And I think you really helped me just chill me out and just sort of explain a lot of that stuff to me. And so that was sort of the beginning period.
Yeah, I remember when you first came in and we were talking about ovulation and sharing the differences that you and John had about when to try. Yeah, and that's right. You were like, can you text him and tell him exactly this? And a big thing too that I see with a lot of women, and none of us are alone in this, is because we take on so much and because we are doing so many things that we're not having enough sex in general. And that was a big conversation that I know you and I had, and I have with everyone. So you're not alone in that. And that's a big piece that,
John, I love this.
I know, right? He's well, we won't show the process. No, the one I just did on Sunday, Kenny was like, so you're going to talk about what you're doing to prepare to get pregnant again. And his family, you should have seen all the family messages we got from that. But anyway, I'm like, this is what I do. I want to, and that's the whole thing why I want you on here too. And obviously what you do for a living, and you're such an empowering leader, that this is a conversation that should be had, and this understanding that the preconception period is really important. And and just getting aligned with your partner, right? And aligning your body so that you can best be prepared to get pregnant, and to understand that it can take time for these things to happen, and that you're not alone in that process, that, you know, this isn't like a snap for everyone by any means.
This conversation's not out there, right? Like nobody really
Not at all. Yeah.
So like, you know, oh, like my friend just got pregnant, or, you know, you see people that are pregnant at work, or, and you just think that it's just something that just happens, right? And it's interesting the way that I even hear friends who are pregnant talk about preparing for birth, and they're like, you know, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna just be relaxed, and whatever happens, happens. I have a birth plan, but whatever happens, happens. And in a way, because while you're pregnant, you have all that space and time to think about about the birth, like, and birthing, because it's, you know, getting sort of squeezing a, you know, baby out of your vagina is sort of like, you know,
it's kind of a big deal. Yeah.
The thing is that space, and that, you know, I'm going to just go with the flow, and I'm going to just be relaxed, and, you know, I have a plan, but whatever happens, happens. Like, in a way, you almost need that mindset, like when you start to try to get pregnant, and, you know, and then be like, and hey, you know, this could take a year. This could take more than a year. This could take 1 month, you know, and just, and to really, and to know that there's so many stories where the more stressed out you get when it doesn't happen, the more that stress actually prevents you from getting pregnant, right?
It's so fascinating.
I know that's your expertise in work, is, you know, so much of it is in the mind and in the emotions of it, as opposed to your body.
How did you feel in the beginning when you were trying and you were getting your periods? Do you remember?
Yeah, I just remember feeling exactly, you know, what I was saying, just feeling so disappointed every period. You know, every time you see that blood, you're like, oh God, you know, and then having to wait another few weeks to, like, for your ovulations, like,
yeah,
seems so, like, long, you know? And even, like, after that first miscarriage, you're like, oh my God, are you serious? We have to go through this again?
Yeah.
Also, you know, I'm also the kind of person, right? Like, there's certain things you can control. You can sort of control your career. You can control, you know, what you want to manifest, or to a certain degree, right? But like pregnancy and anything about birthing and breastfeeding, it's just not something. It's just not something you can control. And women are planners, and women like control. It's our comfort zone. And so I think that, you know, surrender is probably the most powerful word that you could have throughout the process.
Yeah, I agree. So share the miscarriage story, if you don't mind.
So, you know, John and I were about, like, I want to, you know, when we found out we were pregnant, I was in, just, you know, that sort of insanity period before She Summit. So for those of you that don't know She Summit and don't know me, it's like this massive undertaking. It's like my Oscars, right? It's my TED Global. It's my Fashion Week, you know, like my big, huge event of the year. And it's really like our business, our company, our revenues, like everything's tied in with this one big thing. And it was June 5th and 6th of 2014. And like those few months prior, I'm just hustling, right, with my team to get it all produced. So I found out around that period that I was pregnant. We were so happy, but we were just paranoid. We didn't tell anybody. Like, my team didn't know, and my mom didn't even know, because my mom's a bit stressful. She's like more stressful than she is supportive sometimes. Hello, any Asians out there with, like, crazy Chinese moms? But anyway, she's great too. But basically, like, only John's mom knew. Like, really nobody knew.
And me.
You, exactly. And then, yeah, and so I was excited. And then, you know, the first day, I remember going into this welcome, like about to have my welcome speech, going to the bathroom.
I remember,
blood, you know, and I was like, oh my God. And I actually didn't even do enough research on, like, what happens if you see blood, like, what is it spotting? Like, I didn't even know anything. I just knew that seeing blood was not a good thing. And that's when I texted you. And then, you know, we decided, like, let's just see how it goes throughout the day. But I was bleeding throughout the day, and I actually executed the full first day of the conference. And then that night, it was just like excruciating belly pains. And I remember texting you that night back and forth and talking to you. And then the next day, my OB was like, just go to the hospital, because it could be happening outside of your fallopian tubes, or it was something like
inside, that. Yeah. Could have been an ectopic, right?
Like, That's what it was. And then, you know, there's a chance that it could be like life, you know, I could risk my life. So I was, again, being the crazy person I am, I still went to the conference and like executed a few, like moderated a few panels and then just checked into the Lennox Hill Hospital. But, you know, it was just all so surreal. I think the timing of it was just blew me away. So immediately I thought, oh, you know, did I just work so hard? Did I work myself to death? Right. And it was just like the timing of it, where the beginning of the conference, you know, I did this to myself, right? Of course, that went through my mind. Like, did I push myself too hard that my body just couldn't hold the pregnancy? And then, but yeah, it was just a shock. It was surreal. It was, you know, a lot of subconscious feelings. And then, you know, we were just so sad. Like, we were just really, like, I remember being in the ER office with John, I mean, the hospital ER. And then I remember they were like looking, doing the sono, and there was just like nothing. There was nothing there. And so I just, like, we were just like looking so hard at the screen and just, I mean, and I was sad, but I was also so sad for him because, you know, in a way, like, it's the woman's responsibility, right? Like, well, the woman is carrying this. It's her, it's my body, it's my energy, it's my life force, it's carrying this child. And so it was also like I was taking away something from him. You know, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Also. So it's just, you know, was definitely like one of the hardest experiences of my life. And then, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember that day too. I was a speaker at the summit that first day. And so being there with you and kind of watching it unfold, and of course, praying to God that it wasn't an actual miscarriage, but then when it turned out to be one, it was very sad and devastating. And
Yeah.
I remember afterwards talking with John too, and how, you know,
yeah,
it's tough. It was really tough. But you guys, you know, once you could, you got right back at it. And
yeah.
then,
And here's the thing about me is, like, I'm so spiritual, you know, like, I'm rooted in Christianity and in God. And so
yeah.
I'm so spiritual that, you know, like, I think that the way that it was really hard, like, when it was happening and like maybe like a few days after, like a week after, but because I'm so spiritual, like, I knew that, that the timing of it was just so uncanny, and the timing of it was just so wild that,
Yeah.
and not in the middle of the first day or like right after the conference, like right like the kickoff of the event. So I knew that I was meant to go through it. And I realized that about my life in general, is that everything hard that I go through, I'm meant to go through it so that I can understand it and understand the pain that so many people experience, so many women experience, so that I can create, you know, that I can expand my platform and my resources to support women in that way, which is why I've had fertility and maternity as a conversation at She Summit for the last 2 years, and trying to, like, and, you know, we're so open about our miscarriages, right? Because, you know, so I know that why this topic is important to me and our friendship is important to me, because so many women, it was like 40% of women, when it's a really high percentage, you know, that can go through it. And so, you know, it really, we have to remove the taboo around it, right? Like, it's part of our, yeah, it's, I mean, it's horrible, but it's common.
Yeah. The actual statistic is 18%, but then as we get closer, over 35, it goes up a bit. The sun is in my face. But yeah, and I think that, you know, we had so many conversations about that too, and just that piece of the surrender to this whole process of, you know, you are where you're supposed to be, and to trust in, you know, the divine guidance of this all, and that you know, this was part of your path for a reason. And I always thought, you know, I mean, of course I didn't want it to happen, but after the fact, it's like, it's because this is part of her message to help empower others. You know?
Looking back at my life now, like, it's so a part of me, you know, and I'm actually, not that I mean, I do say I'm grateful for my greatest challenges of life, right? Because I think that that's also it's our greatest challenges and hardships and struggles and adversities that actually are what build us and cultivate us and turn us into the character and give us the endurance that we need to really do extraordinary things in this world. And we're born to be extraordinary. So life is supposed to be hard. There's supposed to be work involved, you know, but I think that it's, if you surrender to that and change your relationship to that, when those things happen, You know, there's a reason we can't understand everything from our human perspective. You know, there's a greater spiritual force out there. And so, you know, I would say that because if you don't have that spirit and you don't have that self-love and that surrender when something like this happens, then you will continue to beat yourself up and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And that's not good for anything. It's not good for you trying to conceive again, for your relationship with your spouse. It's not good for your career. It's not good for your confidence, your identity, your self-worth.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's such a huge part. And trust me, like once you even just get through the pregnancy and have the birth, that's just that's just the beginning of the real hardship, is actually a mother. So, oh my gosh, you know, it's really just so funny how like getting pregnant and then having the baby, and those are just like, you think that, okay, like finally it's done. And then you're like, no, that's just the beginning. And, you know, women are extraordinary for what, you know, we're able to do.
Absolutely. And then, so tell us now how it feels to be pregnant again. This is like your second pregnancy. I mean, you gave birth to Jackson in your 40s, right? You had just turned 40.
So what happened was, you know, that summer after the conference, we took that summer off. And then we went to Argentina that August. I remember.
Right, I remember that.
Go on a vacation if you're trying to get pregnant, seriously. And then just like, you know, just it really does disconnect you. Get disconnected, have lots of great sex, you know, drink your wine, you know, enjoy yourself. And, you know, so that's what John and I did. We, you know, we went to, you know, and I had lots of steak and lots of red wine, and we came back and we just, you know, and we were like, you know, let's just, because we had to wait like 2 or 3 months to start trying. That's the period. So we just started, you know, timing. We started trying, and like within 2 months or something, you know, we got pregnant. But yeah, but the thing is that what's interesting is that, and obviously I can talk about what it was like preparing, what the actual birth and breastfeeding was like, because I actually think postpartum is a huge, you know, it's a huge piece of the conversation. But I mean, the other thing I want to talk about is just like how insane my last few years have been, like from a career standpoint, from a life standpoint, from, you know, so like literally like I gave birth and have gone through this process, you know, in probably the 2-3 most like in just busy, hardcore few years of my life. You know, there's just a lot of major events have happened these last few years. So, but yeah, so whatever you want me to sort of go into.
Well, yeah. How did you stay grounded then through that? Like what were some of your practices that you think helped you also get pregnant during such an intense time?
Yeah, so let's see. So I basically, I remember I was, you know, at first our conference, so I got pregnant in like whatever, like October, September, something like that of 2014. And then She Summit 2015 was going to be in June again.
Yeah, you pushed it back, right?
Which is essentially around my due date. But then basically, and then Korea, like I, State Department contacted me, you know, because they asked me to do a countrywide speaking tour, you know, literally like 6 weeks before I was due. And so I was like, so I ended up pushing the conference to the fall, doing that tour. And I was like, you know, I was basically, you know, doing all of that and, you know, inspiring a country. And basically came back and then had an amazing sort of like third trimester that was relaxing. But then I gave birth and then was in a really struggled breastfeeding. And then She Summit was like 2 months after that, you know? And my friends to this day, like literally I stopped breastfeeding like exactly like right after She Summit. And my friends like, I can't believe She Summit stole your breast milk, you know? But I stayed calm through it all. And, you know, and obviously like I got pregnant during the planning of this year's conference, and right before my father passed away on August this year. And I'm also writing a book this year. And again, a lot of just major things happening. Right. But I think it's all spirit. You know, I pray every day, and, you know, I think everybody needs to have a source, right? And whether or not that source is your spirit, or whether or not it's nature, whether or not it's exercise, whether or not it's meditation, you know, whatever it is for you. But it really, you know, we all have to you know, right, life is a race, right? Like you can just get caught in the rat race, and you know, what we think affects how we feel affects how we behave. And so the thoughts, right? The thoughts that go into our mind, you know, are just so powerful. We have to be so strategic with how and our tendency as human beings is to be negative or to be, unless you're Aimee Raupp.
Stop it.
It's like a human nature, you know, to basically to react to obstacles in a, you know, in a negative, fearful, you know, tough way, right? To, you know, to not feel like you have it all that it takes, right? Like our natural tendency is, you know, is not being in this perfect state. And so we have to, you know, I think, you know, having a practice, whatever it is, you know, to really shift you back into your optimal mental, physical, you know, emotional state is so critical.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
If you're rooted in something that is so bigger than yourself, and you're connected to a, you know, the greater, you know, a greater spirit, then it's, you know, really, it's extraordinary, you know, what you can achieve, and how you can surrender to everything.
All right, throw that on the side. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I talk about that obviously a lot in my practice, and you already had that rooted in your life, that sense of spirituality and prayer, and I do notice that women who don't have that, that's something to really incorporate, and really helps them in this process, because the more, I think, spiritual that you become, and again, whatever it is that gets you there, you know, it doesn't have to be Bible-based. It can be anything that works for you, right? You know, whatever can get you rooted in that spirit, like you say, really helps you trust this process, and slow down enough to also trust your body, right? And listen to your body.
Yeah, trust and faith is huge.
It is.
Because, and really what it is, you know, it's believing in the invisible, right? I mean, it's not there yet. That's not tangible. And we all want answers now, and we want to know, is this going to happen? And, you know, life is, you know, just without trust and faith, you're just pretty much screwed. You know?
No, I agree. Yeah. And one of the other things that I want to talk about too is, like, you know, getting pregnant at an advanced maternal age. Have you felt any? I'm trying to avoid the sun, guys. That's why I keep moving. My new office, I don't think, is applicable to afternoon webinars. But have you felt any pushback or judgment, or do you feel like you're really helping inspire other women with pregnancy in your 40s? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm so, you know, I became an entrepreneur at 25. My last company was Shecky's. If any of you remember, if you're in your, like, I guess late 30s, early 40s, we did girls' night out shopping parties around the country, and it was like a multi-million-dollar women's entertainment company. And after that, at 35, when I left there, and I was dating John, and I was going to start this new company, all of my girlfriends were like, "What? Like, why are you not just getting married and have babies? Like, what? I don't like what women's empowerment. What do you know?" And then like I literally started over, you know, or started at sort of at least started over for a new thing, right? Started at stage one for a new thing at 35, and then, you know, even when I met John at 30. Like, yeah, when we got married at 37, we dated for 4 or 5 years, and then we waited, like, so I'm a late bloomer in everything, because I really am I want to live my life to the fullest. And, you know, and it's always just been a part of me. I have never been, you know, the one, again, to worry so much about my biological clock. And so I'm so proud that I'm so happy and proud that I was able to conceive at 40, you know, like had Jackson at 40, and then now giving birth to my second right before I turned 42, because I feel like we need to see these stories. We need to hear the stories. And because many women, you know, are like focusing on their careers, or you know, focusing on them. And then all of a sudden they wake up and like, oh my God, I'm 43 years old and I got to get on this. You know, I actually have friends that are in that place right now. So I do think it's important, and because and many women do get pregnant in their 40s, right? So I think it's important to have, you know, those role models, and you know, and for us to change the game. I mean, we're also living longer today, right? I mean, and so like X number of years ago, yeah, it was really hard to conceive in 40, but now you can. And so there's a lot of ways. I think it's important for us to have role models for all these different opportunities. And this She Summit that just finished up on October 28th to 29th. I mean, I was 6 months pregnant on stage, on heels. That was my choice, for 12-hour days for 2 days. And to have created and birthed our 5th annual conference, our most successful, powerful. We also tripled our revenues this year. We've had a stellar breakthrough business year as well, like with a 1-year-old, pregnant.
Yeah.
So many major events happened in my life. But the fact that I was able to, because I'm so rooted in, a foundation of spirituality and knowing who I am and what my values are, I was able to really invest my time in what matters and be able to birth this big conference while still making a baby. And I was very proud of myself to be on stage to show women that is possible, that you freak out at 33 years old because, you're not even close to having a child yet. Right. So you have time.
Yeah. Good. Bravo. I love that. Yeah. That's a huge message that I want you all to know. And obviously if you've been following me for a while, that's my message. That's like the core of my message that I did in my 40s. So did Claudia. I plan to do it again. And of course it's not about, how would I say, taking advantage of things. It's really also about this sense of being rooted and knowing who you are, right? And knowing yourself well enough, but then from that place to honoring your body and your health, right? I mean, that's a lot of the work that we did too with, some of the supplements I put you on and the nutritional changes and all that. I definitely think help us age appropriately, or I would say not even appropriately, age, in a way that preserves our fertility, right? So we can go ahead and do it and then continue. And I feel the same way, like this year since James has been born, it's like my business has just blown up, and it's, it's like allowing you to give birth to even more and, but honoring yourself and taking care of your body really gets you there,
in terms of just, again, whether or not, whether or not you're 30 and you're not even thinking about having kids until you're at least 35 or whatever it is this fertility health thing, right? Is lifestyle. It's like, no matter how old you are, I think the most important thing is, getting into the best physical and emotional, psychological state. Making sure that you're really healthy in the mind, in the heart, in the body. That is the most important thing that you can do at any period in your life. For me, getting healthy in my mind and my heart, is easier than getting healthy in my body. Cause I'm Chinese, and I grew up eating, having a bowl of rice and 10 different dishes. And I've always, I'm 5'2.5". I've always been around the same weight. I still have clothes from 10 years ago. And so I'm just, if I want fried chicken, I eat fried chicken. If I want to drink wine, if I want to, eat whatever, I want to eat potato chips. So I've never been a healthy, not that I'm unhealthy, but I've always eaten whatever it is that I want. Right. And that was the funny thing is before right. But when I came to, but prior to you, I remember, I have other friends that do similar work that you do, but, but again, you were the first person. And they were very much, and I love all of them, but saying vitamin and words and names that I couldn't even, they had 20 syllables in these vitamins. I went Elisa, right? I love Elisa, but she's like, oh, are you taking and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then Latham, who I love also dearly, but she's like, you can't drink coffee. You can't drink any alcohol. You should be taking, instead of salt, you should use Dulce flat. I was like, what? Dulce, Dulce, seaweed flakes. And I was like, okay. And then I met you, and you were like, you can drink, but just do high quality, vodka, premium vodka, stop the wine. But you gave me, if for you, you were all about moderation, and you were all about moderation and also liver and, certain good fats, and good oils and, simple, you just broke it down for me in such a practical way that was finally I can do this, and then you didn't even tell me what I was taking. You're like, here, just take this. This is a fish oil. This is your da-da-da-da. just take it 2 a day, you know, like just, and again, I love all of my, and everybody's a rock star, right? Like, and I think for everybody, you know, for me, Aimee was more,
Yeah.
for some people, you know, like if you're really scientific, you know, if you're really into yoga and you're already a very green, organic person, you know, I'm just saying that there's different, you know, fine, you know, like there's, but for me, like you were just like, ta-da, you know, you just made it easy for me, you know, and in my busy, insane lifestyle, you know, I just, it was practical for me. It was realistic for me. And yeah, and just everything about it.
Oh, good. So is there anything that you would want to say or inspire to other women that have gone through a miscarriage and are still currently trying to conceive? Any takeaways for them upon it, but any?
Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing is just, I think, you know, and you preach this, is really just, and you wrote a whole book on it, which was like, you know, chill out and get healthy. You know, it was just, it is really the chill out, right? It is really the, you know, the less you almost, I think it's just focus on your well-being.
Yeah.
You know, focus on your well-being and mindfulness, and whether, again, it's prayer or like, you know, have your routine, go to yoga once or twice a week, whatever it is for you, just, you know, like, you know, keep up those, or start, you know, habits that are going to clear your head, that are going to relax you, that are going to help you really balance out your crazy work week and all the things that you have to get done, your to-do list, and just try to slow down. And when you start the process of trying, and when it happens, it's like surrender, 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 and faith, 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 belief, belief, belief. Positive creates positive, you know, positive attitude creates positive results. It really is true. The more you focus on something, you know, the more you get of it. So if you're going to focus on fear and what if this doesn't happen, you know, and punish yourself, the more you turn that into a reality. So, and it's hard to do, you know, which is why then I would say, you know, be very conscious and proactive and strategic about the company you keep. And, you know, who are the people you're surrounded. And when I say company, I mean everything. I mean the people that you are talking to, what they're saying to you. Surround yourself with people that support you, that believe in you, that are positive. The things that you are reading, like, you know, how can you read up more, like find resources like Aimee and her blogs, and, you know, and other women, and just learn about it. But in a positive way, right? And just, you know, make sure you're minimizing anything that's toxic in your life. People and energies. I mean, I know people that got pregnant finally after they quit their jobs because they were in toxic work environments, right? So we are what we are surrounded ourselves with, right?
Okay.
So I think, you know, we have to be I think we go about life. I'm working, you know, as you know, I'm finishing my book now, that's due to the publishers next month. But like a big part of what I say is that we're born into this world and live in a very reactionary way. And we, you know, as opposed to really, like, we are living out of our own minds and our own perspectives. And we're not taught these things, right? Like, we have to learn how to be mindful. We have to learn self-love. We have to learn these habits. College and school doesn't teach you that. Your parents can give you like confidence advice, but you really have to be very strategic, and create your own strategic plan around your self-care. And it's something you have to be so proactive with, because if you're just like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm just going to go with the flow, it's just not going to happen.
I agree. I think that's amazing advice. And with that, I want to segue into something that I created for you guys that, you know, as Claudia was saying, that my approach is practical and I think very, very doable for, especially, you know, the modern American woman, if you will, and all about this, you know, sense of believing in your body again, and getting back in touch with who you are, and even, you know, the support and the community that you talk about. You know, there's an interesting statistic that women in support groups get pregnant twice as fast as women who are not. And I think that's quite fascinating, and it really plays to what Claudia was saying, that, who we surround ourselves with, and then, choose our company wisely. So real quick, just because there's a lot that I want to share with you, I'm going to put us into a little slideshow. So just sit tight. Claudia and I will be right back. We're going to answer questions. And you're going to still hear us talking, but you're going to see the screen go black for like a second, and then we'll be into our little slide deck that I want to walk through with you this. Right. Sorry, my screen is, let me just stop this for a second. Pause, my apologies. I put this in maximum. Here we go. Now I'm going to go. I had maximized and I couldn't get to my, okay. Now we're going to do this. Okay, can everyone see this? There we go. I'm checking my other screen. So as Claudia and I were talking, I've worked with thousands of women like Claudia, not all as powerful, but in their own way, I should say. I shouldn't say not all as a strong leader as Claudia. She's definitely an amazing, amazing woman, and someone to always look up to and be inspired by. But it's been a blessing to work with her too, and to help all these women optimize their health and fertility. This is a little shot of a collage of all the babies that I help bring into this world, which always makes me get quite emotional. It's an honor to be able to help women. And even, like Claudia said, like just to give her real practical advice on how she can best, continue in her insanely busy lifestyle, but then modify it to do things to optimize her health and her fertility, even in her 40s, and to recover from a miscarriage. And what I've come to learn in my 12 years of clinical experience is, these are the top reasons why women are not getting pregnant. And a big thing that we were talking about today is this stress levels, the emotional, the nutritional deficiencies, the body disconnected, and the beliefs. I really love that, Claudia and I were talking about that. My next book is going to be all about beliefs and how our beliefs dictate our behavior, and then they therefore dictate our health. And so with that, I went ahead and created what I'm calling the Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course. So it takes my book, Yes You Can Get Pregnant, to like a whole new level. It's basically me teaching a college course about how to optimize your health and your fertility. And so, keep in mind, I wrote Yes You Can Get Pregnant almost 4 years ago, and I've learned a ton since writing it. And I've worked with, now thousands of women. Back then it was only probably a couple hundred. And so what the course is designed to do is help you take back the power over your health and your fertility, but really the power over your life and your ability to love yourself and honor yourself, how to treat the root of all fertility challenges, what and how to eat to optimize egg and sperm quality. We didn't talk so much about the supplements. I also had Claudia's husband on supplements and some dietary stuff. How to shift your lifestyle to support thriving fertility, and then how to shift your beliefs to reignite hope. So what's different about this course, or what separates this course from my book, is that I'm really digging deeper into this conversation that Claudia and I are having about the spirituality, about being connected and rooted in spirit, and about how to shift your beliefs around your body. And what I see clinically is when women, or anybody, they shift their beliefs about their body and its ability to thrive, they then shift their behaviors to support that belief, versus when they don't believe, they don't choose behaviors to support, their body and their health thriving. So it's really what I dig into in this course, and it's my favorite piece. And obviously I'm writing my next book on it. So I'm really into it right now. But there are 5 modules in the course, and this is a quick overview of each module. I don't want to bore you too much with all of it, and you can go. I'll send you a link to the e-course page so you can learn all about and see what's in each and every module. But there's the module that's really dedicated to you taking back your power. There's a module dedicated to you understanding your fertile body, and I really get into the age conversation there. I get into what you need to talk to your doctors about, and the science behind how you can really not just fight the aging process, but actually reverse it if you support your body in the right way. Then we talk about how to identify the kinks in your system, and Claudia and I talked about that a little bit, like how when she came to me, she was eating her traditional Chinese American diet, and, you know, she had some digestive things, and we worked through that, and, you know, really helped shift her health in a different way. And I have a whole module dedicated to nutrition, and not just nutrition, but your relationship with food. And I think that goes back to the belief conversation. You know, if you really believe your food can nourish you and improve your health, you will make choices that really support your health. Then I break it down, you know, like the real practical, the supplements, how to prepare your food and store your food. You know, we have a whole bonus, how to live and eat during each phase of your menstrual cycle. And then this is the fourth module, abundantly fertile living. I go into lifestyle, and this is a lot about, you know, what we're talking about, like the company you keep and what you surround yourself with, and work environments, toxic work environments, to toxic relationships, to toxic bath and beauty products. You know, I cover it all in this module. And then I wrap it up with, I think, the most important module, your fertile mind, and to manage the fear, right? Like how Claudia was saying, like you could choose to live in fear, and then you'll just create more of that fear in your life, or you could choose to live positively and create more positive things in your life, and why choosing love feels so good. And I give a lot of tools and exercises for you to work this and to really get to this rooted self-love place so you can honor your health and nourish your body from that place. And then I also give you additional reading, and, you know, I can send you down a path that will really bring this out in you. And ultimately, you know, my secret goal is to get all of us women loving ourselves so much so that we can then raise children that love themselves so much and make this world a better place, because we really need to shift this global environment. And I think it starts with us, and it starts with us taking care of ourselves and then showing our children how to do the same. So this module really gets into that. And of course, I get into the importance of support. And with the e-course, you get these incredible bonuses. One of the biggest ones, you know, I have a cookbook, and I have these PDFs, and you're going to get modules and workbooks, with each module, and guided meditations and gift certificates and these affirmation cards. But what the best thing is that you get is a secret Facebook group where you're going to get support from me and from other women on their path to conception. And it's just tremendous because, like I was saying, oh yeah, and then we have some other amazing bonuses. But like I was saying, women in support groups get pregnant twice as frequently as women who are not. And then Claudia's going to throw in one of her bonuses today, which I'll talk about in the follow-up email to you guys. And then an additional bonus from me is a free 45-minute group call where you can ask me anything about fertility. So for all those that are interested and purchase the e-course, these are the extra bonuses you're going to get from Claudia and I today. And here's a little reminder. Women in support groups get pregnant twice as quickly as those who are not. So the Facebook group that goes with this course is, I think, an invaluable asset. Here's the price breakdown. So it's basically, you know, for about $20 a week, you're going to get almost 10 hours of me teaching you everything I know about fertility and how to optimize it, plus over about $1,000 in bonuses, plus an invaluable secret Facebook group where you're going to get amazing support from other women. So here's the link. Again, we're going to send you all this so you don't have to stress about it right now. And I'm going to send you, like I said, there's a bunch of testimonials on my e-course descriptor page, and I'll send you all that. But these are just some women I've worked with as well. And the biggest thing, you know, why I'm hosting these webinars and why I've been doing this for a year with these free webinars is this is the biggest message. It's time for you to take back your power. You know, and not just over your fertility, but over your health and over your life. And that's really, you know, my main goal here is, of course, I'm a fertility expert, but I'm a women's health expert. And health is rooted in the emotional piece, the nutritional piece, the spiritual piece, you know. And so this is what I want to give to you to, you know, the tools are all in this course to really help you take back your power over your health and your fertility and your life. And just a loving reminder that fertility is fixable and changeable, that you are not broken. And just like Claudia, you can overcome any challenges, and you can have a busy, crazy, hectic life and do things that help you get pregnant faster. I'm going to come back to you guys now. I just have to find here we go. Okay, we're coming back live. Hi. So yeah, there's my little,
Beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you, honey. Yeah, I don't think you've seen it actually, but that's my piece to you guys. I'd love to help you however I can. And as life gets busier for all of us, I wanted to create something that you could do from the comfort of your own home and learn to optimize your health and your fertility. So I know everybody's got schedules. I want to get to the questions that came in.
I want to quickly add, Amy,
Yeah.
what is just for everybody out there is that what we can talk about is, I feel like also the traditional healthcare resources out there. Oh, excuse me for 1 second.
I'm sorry. Okay, you can in your house. I don't
Oh.
It's okay.
Yeah. John's gonna write you something. So give me 1 second. I'll send a message to John. He'll give it to you. Okay. Thank you. Give me one
busy working mom, and she has her au pair there. This is what you guys will all be doing soon. You will be then working from home and having someone help you with your child.
Yeah, that's a whole other webinar.
I always joke, I mean, this is an aside, but I plan to, I believe in all of your ability to get and stay pregnant. And so I think it is another webinar, but one thing I always joke about is that everybody talks to you about like preparing for baby. No one tells you about the fact that you are also going to have help that you have to manage. Like it's a whole nother relationship. The nanny, the sitter, whatever, the daycare, whatever you choose to do with your child, if you go back to work, it's a facet. You're adding a whole nother member to your life. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a whole other conversation is parenting, motherhood, and the early stages of it. But I was just going to say is that I just find that in general, unfortunately, our OB and just traditional healthcare system is just really screwed up, and it doesn't support, at least in my experience, like the primary physicians, the OBGYNs, and I haven't had the best healthcare because I've been an entrepreneur, and so it's not like I'm at a huge company where I have like this premium healthcare and I can have like the best doctors and I've also moved quite a bit. I've lived like somewhere different every 3 years. And so, so in terms of that relationship, it's insane sometimes to me, even when I call my OB up and, and it's like I'm talking to a ghost, so I think that often there really just isn't the emotional support, and I think this is where Aimee's course and Aimee, like accessing you, we have to clone you. I mean, I always just say like, how do we clone you? And so that every single woman that ever wants to have a child can actually, get your advice and support. And this is basically, how you're doing it, right? You're offering it through this e-course, but it's just a way to get, to get a fertility coach and just like a women's health, fertility, self-care, self-love coach to help you through this process. And it's like overwhelming, all the things that you might need to eat or cook. And, Aimee will just break it down for you in like a really easy, simple way. And I actually might just sit through the course myself, just to even like hear it again. Cause there are times where like, I want to like, I'm like, oh God, I need to ask Aimee this, or I need her recipe for that. And it's like, but I don't want to bug you, so it's like, I might just have to sit through your course again, but it really is.
You absolutely can. You know that.
And the other thing too, is don't leave the workforce. It's like invest. I know it's a lot of money. Like these things are a lot of money, just as when you have the baby, whether or not you want a doula, baby nurse, or then a nanny or an au pair, like it's going to continue to cost money the entire way through, but you're investing in yourself. You are the vessel. And so if you have the right support system, then basically you can be your best, healthiest self. So you'll be able to go out there and still be who you've always been, which is, having your vocation, right? Having what you do for a living, being able to pursue your dreams, passion, and purpose, right? That's outside of just being a mother and being a mother and being a partner and being, all these different things. And so like, that's the life that I live right now, right? Like I have it all because I have a career that I'm like more passionate about than anything, but I'm also a mom and, but it's because I invest in resource. I invested in you. I invested in, we have to continue to invest in the right people to support us.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. Thank you. I second everything she says. And it comes back to that honoring yourself, and to feel valuable and worthy of the investment. Yeah, you're totally worth it.
And it's not even it's everything. I mean,
Well,
you
it is.
are invest in yourself. So
Yeah.
what you put in.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, I want to go through some questions because I know we have like 6 or 7. Let's see. So what are a few important tests for baseline health? You know, I think getting a complete thyroid panel, which I know we've talked about and you mentioned in this email, but TSH, free T3, free T4, thyroid antibodies. I would get vitamin D checked as well. I think that's super important. Let's see. Endometrial polyp. I don't believe it's very large. Okay, let's see. So endometrial polyps, I mean, I would still say I would continue because this woman has an endometrial polyp and is asking my recommendation. And she already, you know, gets acupuncture, does the castor oil packs, eats healthy. I would make sure that lifestyle-wise, there's no exposures to excess estrogen in your environment anywhere, meaning bath and beauty products, your work environment. Also, you want to think whenever there's kind of accumulation or masses, like what are you holding on to emotionally? So I would maybe look to the emotional piece as well here. And not necessarily, I don't know if surgery is necessary depending on the size and the location, but I think you should just continue the path and see if it continues to shrink. And if it's super large, then maybe surgery is the best option. You know, she's 39 and trying to conceive second baby. Vitex on a regular basis to help progesterone levels. Is it okay to take? I don't recommend Vitex, especially on the long-term side, and especially all month long. You should only be taking it 2 weeks out of the month during the luteal phase. So, you know, just to be conscious of that. And you know, there's so many other ways to help balance the progesterone, and it really comes back down to lifestyle and overall health. You know, the biggest thing I talk about in the course is that your health, you know, is what we're looking at and we're trying to improve, because your fertility is an extension of your health. So it's not just about taking Vitex, you know, it's about how you're balancing your hormones all month long and what other exposures you have. So to just keep that in mind, everyone to keep that in mind, because, you know, I'm not a big supplementer pusher. I'm more about, I see Claudia's belly right now. It's so cute, I think. Wait, you're muted for some reason. There we go. I was like, I see a belly right now. Oh, I love that. We should show that again because it wasn't on you. Go ahead, show it again. Oh, look at that baby. We don't know what it is, but I think we're going to assume it's a girl. Maybe it's another boy. But anyway, this is all about optimizing health, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, nutritionally, and hormones come back into balance. Vitex can help support that process, but to be fully dependent on the vitamins or to just take vitamins thinking that that's going to fix the problem, you know, it's a much bigger, I shouldn't use the word problem, you know, fix or rectify the situation. That it's a global thing we need to do, not just, you know, these spot treatments, if you will. And then let me just see. I know there's a couple more. Where did they go? Sorry, Claudia. I know I want to let Claudia go because I feel like she's got.
I just got. Is that okay? I'm just getting.
Yeah, no, we can. Yeah, you can hang up and I'll wrap up. But
okay.
Thanks, my love. I love you so much.
Love you and love you all, and just, you know, good luck with everything, and it's all going to be amazing. And I'll probably see you at the e-course. Okay. Bye. Thank you. Okay.
I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. So I think I actually just got through all the questions. I want to check on the YouTube page to make sure. Did anyone else? Oh, here we go. There are some questions. Oh, thank you, sweetie. How does Claudia handle the day-to-day challenge of running her company and growing up one? So we're, you know, besides her being a client, we're fairly good friends. So I think I can answer on her behalf. See, I'm frozen over here. Let's just refresh this. Or perhaps it's just my computer. This other computer I have is pretty old. Okay, there we go. So And how does she structure her day? You know, so I know Claudia like extremely well. She is extremely, everything's on her calendar, and she basically has these spreadsheets, and that's how she structures her day. Everything from like feeding to exercise to work schedule. They have an au pair that really helps the situation. So that's a woman who lives with them and really helps. And then she has her whole team of people. So she's the queen of delegating too. She's taught me a lot on how to, as I grow my business, and then also I'm a mom and, you know, feel extremely busy at times. And I don't like that word busy, but I feel like my schedule can be very full. It's asking for help. It's really support. You know, I think it comes back to that same conversation we were having is surrounding yourself with the right company, with people who help you grow rather than people who don't support that growth. And she's the queen of that. She's been preaching that to me for years, you know, as she watches me grow. And so yeah, she's very organized. That's how she does it. And it's the only way she does it. And I think it's the only way you can do it. You literally have to have a calendar, and it's set up, and they have a family calendar, and they have the work calendar, and then they have, you know, the social calendar. I mean, all of that. So how much help does she enlist with the kids? So yeah, like I said, she has an au pair. So it's about 45 hours a week that they have help. Oh, okay. Awesome interview, ladies. What are the advantages to men to become a mom in your 40s? You know, I mean, this is the only time I've become a mother, so I can't really answer to any other time in my life being a mom. And I know Claudia and I talk about this all the time, you know, that we're so grateful that we did this in our 40s, to be inspiring and hopeful, you know, to create hope for other women that this can be their path too, but B, that we're so much more in touch and evolved and in love with ourselves, and in a space where we can honor and treat our lives and our bodies with the respect that it deserves. So, and then from that place, I can mother as well. You know, I always say, part of what I'm teaching in the course, and what I preach all the time to my clients in the clinic, and even in Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, you know, this was there too, of, you know, the more we love ourselves, then, you know, the better we're going to be as parents and as mothers. And, you know, that then we won't put our shit on our kids, which I think a lot of parents unfortunately do. When they haven't worked out their own stuff, they project onto their family unit. And so my goal is really to get us to be responsible for ourselves, and to take responsibility for our actions, for our feelings, for our moments, for our days, for our beliefs, you know, and be willing to see things differently, be willing to shift and change, be willing to honor our bodies, you know, and stop blaming others, stop blaming certain things, you know, where it's really about taking back the responsibility. And, you know, my whole program and approach to life is to make it as practical as possible for you, and you can do it. And, you know, Claudia's a great example of that. You know, there were times where she was like, I can't eat dairy, what, you know. And we worked through it, you know, and we just had to figure out what would work for her. And that's, I'm pretty good at that, I think, because I'm the same way. I'm very intense and nonstop, and so, you know, my program is perfect for those types. And let's see, do we have any other questions? If not, we're gonna wrap up. But I really enjoyed this, and I hope you all got a lot out of it. And, you know, our mission was to inspire you, not just from the overcoming miscarriage, but the pregnancy at an advanced maternal age, right? That this does happen in the 40s. You know, women get pregnant in their 40s all the time and have healthy pregnancies. You know, her miscarriage was at 39, not at 40. Or 38, actually. I think her miscarriage was at 39. And then she got pregnant again, probably like 6 months later. Turned 40 during that first pregnancy. And is now 41, about to be 42. And, but that you can do this, and you do have the power. So to take responsibility for your actions, and for your body, and for your health. And I'm going to wrap it up, and thank you guys so much. And like I said, I'm going to follow up in an email with information on the course, and just respond to that email with any questions that you have. The course page has an FAQ section at the bottom. So I think we cover all the most commonly asked questions about the course, and who it's for and who it's not for, and all that. So go through that FAQ section first and see if your questions can be answered. But otherwise, I'm here for you, and I will see you soon. We have another one of these webinars, Path to Pregnancy, on Sunday with Reshma Sojani, who also overcame miscarriage, I believe 4 miscarriages. So, and Reshma and I worked together for quite some time through that time. And yeah, I get emotional, but she has a beautiful, healthy baby boy at the end of it. And I'm excited to have her on because her challenges were significant, if you will. And she's another fucking rock star of a woman. So it's not that we aren't rock stars, but you know, she's another one of those leaders that is just a little powerhouse. And I think it'll be great to have her insight because, like Claudia, she's, you know, she knows how to compartmentalize, move through, push forward, but then also how she found time to take care and honor herself and her body and her health and the trauma of what she went through. So I'll email you guys about that on Sunday, but thanks again for tuning in today. Have a great day.